They have noticed the change in you. Sometimes they mention it directly. They say you have become distant. They say you are hard to reach. They use words like guarded, aloof, or cold. And because you no longer possess the energy to explain yourself, you let them believe whatever version of you makes them comfortable. But you know the truth. You know that you were not always this way. There was a time when you felt everything. When every slight, every change in tone, every unreturned effort registered in your chest with a profound, exhausting clarity. You cared deeply, often about people and situations that did not care for you in return. You poured your emotional reserves into vessels that were fundamentally broken, hoping that if you just cared enough, the leaks would stop. They call your current state indifference. But indifference implies a lack of interest. What you are experiencing is not a lack of interest. It is a biological and psychological shutdown. It is the aftermath of caring too much for too long without a return on your investment. This is the psychology of emotional detachment. Not a personality flaw, but a survival mechanism. Emotional detachment does not happen overnight. You do not wake up one morning and decide to stop feeling. It is a slow, methodical construction project. It begins with small betrayals. The text message that goes ignored. The effort that is unappreciated. The argument where your feelings are dismissed as dramatic. At first, these things hurt, but eventually, a quiet arithmetic begins in your brain. Your mind starts to calculate the cost of hoping versus the cost of disappointment. You learn through repeated conditioning that vulnerability is expensive. So you start laying the bricks. You stop reaching out first. You lower your expectations. When someone pulls away, you let them go instead of chasing them. You begin to observe your own life from a slight distance, as if you are a passenger in your own body rather than the driver. You built this wall out of necessity. Every brick is a moment where you needed comfort and received silence. And now the wall is finished. What is actually happening inside you is not just a psychological metaphor. It is a neurological event. Psychologists refer to this as emotional blunting, or a defensive detachment response. When your nervous system is subjected to chronic stress, continuous disappointment, or emotional overwhelm, it eventually reaches a threshold. The brain perceives emotional pain in much the same way it perceives physical pain. If you hold your hand to a flame, your nervous system forces you to pull away. If you hold your heart to a situation that constantly burns it, the nervous system eventually pulls the plug on the connection. This is a state of active preservation. Your amygdala, the alarm system of your brain, becomes exhausted from constantly ringing. To prevent a total collapse, the brain dials down the volume on everything. You don't just stop feeling the pain. You stop feeling the joy, the excitement, and the anticipation. The baseline of your existence becomes a flat, gray line. There is a specific, quiet tragedy to being emotionally detached. And it is this. You are aware that you are not feeling. It is like a phantom limb. You can sense the space where the emotion is supposed to be. You look at a beautiful sunset, or you hear a piece of music that used to make you cry, or someone tells you they love you. And you wait for the internal reaction. But the reaction does not come. You feel the absence of the feeling. This creates a deep, private guilt. You wonder if you are broken. You wonder if you have lost your humanity. You watch other people laugh, cry, and engage passionately with the world, and you feel like an alien observing a species you can no longer relate to. But you are not broken. You are just wearing a very heavy armor. And the problem with wearing heavy armor all the time is that while it stops the arrows from hitting you, it also stops the sunlight from reaching your skin. The people who told you to protect your peace rarely mentioned how lonely peace can be when it is built on isolation. When you are emotionally detached, you become hyper-independent. You do not ask for help because asking for help requires relying on someone else, and relying on someone else is a variable you can no longer control. You handle everything yourself. You become the strong one, the unbothered one, the one who never needs anything. But this strength is a solitary confinement. You sit inside your fortress, completely safe from heartbreak, rejection, and disappointment. But no one is inside with you. You have successfully protected yourself from the world, but in doing so, you have also quarantined yourself from it. You are safe, you are untouchable, and you are utterly alone. The question is not whether you should tear down the wall. The wall kept you alive when you needed it. The question is whether you can learn to put a door in it. Healing from emotional detachment does not mean reverting to the person you were before, the one who trusted easily and bled for everyone. That person is gone, and they needed to go. Healing means recognizing that the war you built the fortress for is over. It starts with small, controlled risks. Allowing yourself to care about something minor. Allowing yourself to feel a brief moment of disappointment without shutting down the entire system. It is the slow, terrifying process of thawing out. Your numbness is not your final form. It was a waiting room, a place for your nervous system to rest until the environment was safe enough to feel again. You are not cold. You are not dead inside. You are just quietly waiting for a reason to come back to life.